So let me share the screen then. Net is bit slow. With just Uma Gyanatimandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshulmitame Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha कृपा सिंधुभ्यो एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो 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 विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So it covered till 18.39, and so we'll complete chapter 18 today. The most confidential chapter is Guiha Tama, from Guiha Tara, and Guiha Tama. That is confidential, more confidential, and most confidential. That wonderful verse will also come. Meanwhile, just Mataji, is everything is okay? Uh, the screen
Hare Krishna
sharing and
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Right. Okay, so let's proceed. So, yeah, so Guiha Taram, and Guiha Tama. So this most confidential knowledge we will have in this chapter, and we discuss about the happiness, and then we go to 18.40 now. So these are the three things we had already discussed. Now comes the 18.40. But before that, we can have a question that there are five factors which are for anything to do. Five factors are responsible to do anything, whether to hold my hand like this, lift the pen, or even sending the rocket to the moon, or to the Mars, or whatever, or making a big power plant. So, what are those five factors? Anyone? Let us unmute. What are the five factors? Okay, any of the five, not necessarily all five. Something, anything you remember. What we discussed just in the part one. Hare Krishna, quickly. We have to cover a lot, so let us be very quick. Hare Krishna. Okay, some tips I'll give. So it starts with the place of action or adhisthana. Then performer. So adhisthana, karta. Then karana. Karana is the object of uh, object of action, or in other words, it can be our senses as well. So So Adhisthana, Karta, Karana, object of action, and then the Chesta or the endeavor. And the fifth is the Daipya. So Daiva, so fifth is super soul. So out of this five, who is the most important? Super soul. So even if we have all four, still there has to be a sanction of super soul. Otherwise, even a blade of grass cannot move. That is the understanding. So now we come to this particular verse which says that न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा दिवि दिवेषु वापनः सत्त्वं प्रकृतिर्जैर्मुक्तं ये देभिः स्यात् त्रिभिर्गुणैः. This is no being, there is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems. We know the higher planetary systems, which is freed from these three modes born of material nature. So, Krishna is saying that there cannot be any place in this entire 14 world or any other system beyond the 14 worlds, whether it is the lowest of the species in the lowest of the planets or lowest of the lokas to the highest, that is Brahma Loka. No one is free from these three gunas, that is Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva, or Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, or goodness, ignorance, and passion, or goodness, passion, and ignorance, in that order. So nobody is free from this because, yes, birth, death, old age, and disease, at least the disease and old age may not be there in, let's say, Swargaloka or in higher planets, but birth and death is there, very much there. The span is very high. For Brahma, maybe it is so many million of years, still death is there. For Swargaloka, for Indra also death is there. However, no one of them is devoid of these three modes. That is the understanding. And we have understood that as long as we are part of this material nature, part means we identify with some desire with the material nature, then we get somehow wrapped in the material nature, which consists of these three modes. Material nature consists of these three modes. So the moment we come in contact and we have certain desire, then naturally we are like the puppets. And we can see here the puppets and the threads are nothing but the gunas. These three gunas are acting on each of us based on. So therefore, everybody says that everything is based on everything, whatever is happening in this world is based on only two things, that is karma and guna. Okay, so summary of section D. Most important, this is the yoga ladder, and yoga ladder we have already understood from the sakama karma to niskama karma, from niskama. So from niskama karma, slowly, going to the platform of jnana, from jnana to dhyana, and from dhyana to ultimately to the bhakti. So this is the ladder. So freedom from reaction by occupational work. All work is controlled by the modes, yet one can become free. How? Free from the reactions of work. That is, it is possible that when we do the niskama karma, then it is possible to be free from the reaction of the work. And that is possible only when we do our respective work or respective duty under the particular ashrama. So, for example, we can. Okay, let us read it out first. All work is controlled by the modes, yet one can become free from the reactions of work by acting as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Sudra in Niskama Karma Yoga while worshipping the Lord through that work. This work, even if faultily done, is better than accepting another's occupation. Prescribed duties are never affected by sinful reaction. Again and again, Krishna is saying all this to Arjuna to say that you are Kshatriya, you are born Kshatriya in a particular ashrama, in a particular varnashrama, and so you are supposed to do your duty. And it is possible to be away from the reaction only when the condition is two. One, we have to do the niskama karma, that is doing for the sake of duty, doing for the sake of duty only. Like what Krishna is saying. So in case of Arjuna, that there could have been two possibilities. Either he would have been governed by the his three gunas. He also had, let's say, whatever guna is there, predominantly. At some point of time, he was a kind of even governed by tamoguna, saying that, and therefore Krishna is saying, Klaibang masmagama partha etatvai na papadyate shudrang hrudadrabalam tyapta uttishtata parantapa. All that he's saying because he temporarily he was governed by some of the gunas. However, he came out because he became the instrument of Krishna. He became instrument of Krishna, saying Nimitta Matra Bhava Sabhyasachi, and that is the only way to get out of the reaction. So this work, even if faultily done, so then there is a third element to it. So one is Niskama Karma. Second is this Niskama Karma also has to happen with Krishna being in the center. I'm not doing Niskama Karma just for Niskama Karma, but even Niskama Karma also I'm doing ultimately, I'm giving everything for Krishna. This is the uh, point two. And the most important point is that even if a work is done faultily in a particular ashrama, then it is better to do a faulty thing in a being in a particular ashram rather than trying to do of somebody else's work. And why it is and thereby prescribed duties are never affected by sinful reaction. So when Arjuna said that, I'll get so much of sins by killing my kith and kin, my guru, my uh, grandshire, my brothers, my in-laws. So I'll have all the sins, I'll go to Narka and all that he was saying. But it was clarified even then. Now it is again clarified now that prescribed duties are not going to be affected by sinful reaction because a Kshatriya is supposed to protect, so he has to kill. But killing not for enjoyment, killing for protection. So we'll see that what are the qualities of each of the varnas. From there, we can understand that, why it is required that one has to exert his duty as per the varna. For example, if you're talking about Brahmana, then it is not that he just born in that particular clan, because what Krishna says is what is a particular varna is guna karma vibhagasaha. Chaturvarnam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagasaha. So based on guna and karma, all these four segments or all these four kind of varnas have been created by me. So now let's see what he's saying next. So four kinds of ashramas, as we just discussed. So one is the so four kind of ashramas. So let's start with the 18.42. समोदमस्व तपः शौचम शांतिरार्जवम एवच ज्ञानम विज्ञानम आस्तिक्यम ब्रह्म कर्म स्वभावजम. So these are the various kind of qualities a Brahmana has, like peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, knowledge, and religiousness. These are the qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Now, it is not mentioned that Brahmana has the quality of, courage. They have the quality to, protect people, etc. All those things are not there because those are the qualities of Kshatriyas. Similarly, in case of Kshatriyas, we'll not see that, the kind of tolerance is there or wisdom and knowledge is there. That is not there. So what they have Sauryam, Teja, Dhritir, Daksham, Yuddhe Chapi, apalayanam, danam ishwar bhavascha, kshatram karma swabhavajam. So Sauryam is heroism, Tejo is power, Dhritir is determination. They're absolutely determined. We have seen so many Kshatriya with so much of. You look at Bhishma Deva, so much determination. Everyone. I mean, even Duryodhana, for that matter, is also determined to kill the Kauravas. I mean, Pandavas. So a Kshatriya has a lot of determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity. So all these are there. Leadership qualities. Now we lot of uh, online classes are there on leadership, and I think leadership is something is very very uh, important chapters in corporate life as well. Everyone talks about leadership, but leadership is one of the quality which is mentioned as part of the Kshatriya quality. So if somebody is a good leader, we can say that he is actually either by his varna or by his quality. That is, somehow he has acquired that kind of quality, so that he's displaying that kind of quality, or by the determination or heroism. So we can say like the soldiers, the army. So we have discussed this, in the previous chapters in level one also. Then the entire society, not only society, any country for that matter, any society for that matter, is actually divided into four varnas, because every society, every country, every generation will have some knowledge, knowledge bank, some wisdom bank, some intellectual bank. So that is, or the research, those scientists, those people are supposed to be brahmanas, because they are the intellectual class. So there will be some people who will be, taking care of the security of the state, of the particular place. So in any case, so that there are the kshatriyas. There is a lot of, then the entire business. The whole nation runs on business. Without business, it's not possible. So Vaishyas. So Vaishyas have what? Vaishyas have agriculture, cow, uh, all that is there, business. And these are the qualities. And what are the qualities of the this thing? Krishi, Goraksha, Vanijya, Vaishya Karma, Subhavajam, then Paricharyatmakam Karma, Sudrishapi Swabhavajam. So farming, cattle raising, and business are the qualities of the work for the Vaishyas, and for the Sudras there is labor. And so basically Sudra is supposed to now cater to all other classes. So if you if we look at what Krishna says, is that Brahmam Janati iti Brahmana, not by the Bhal. So who understand who Brahma is. So we know there are three realizations, Brahman realizations. Who knows Brahma is called Brahmana. So therefore he becomes pure. Therefore he needs tapaha. Therefore he needs saucham. All these are required. Therefore he needs self-control. Because without self-control, without austerity, without purity, it is impossible to know Brahma. So therefore Brahmam Janati Brahmana, not by the birth. Similarly, farming, cattle raising, business, doing all this business, they are supposed to be the Vaishyas. And when we are talking in the Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, we know that some part of a certain portion of Raja will be there with Vaishya, and certain portion of Tama will also be there. Swe swe karmanya bhiratah samsiddhim labate naraha swakarma niratah siddhim yatha vindati tat shrunu. Tat shrunu. Please listen, or please hear. This is very very important word. I think many of us are there where Krishna wants to stress and ask Arjuna that please listen, please hear, because in our Navada Bhakti also we know everything starts from Shravana, then Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smarana, but first Shravana. So by following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. No, now please hear from me how this can be done. So how, what can be done? By their own qualities, means the quality of the Brahmana doing the Brahmanic job, quality of the Kshatriya doing the Kshatra job, quality of Vaishya doing the respective job. By doing that particular job, they will be perfect in their particular job, and they will also be perfect in terms of getting to the Krishna consciousness. So, yatah prakriti bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmana tam abhyarcha siddhim bindati manavaha. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, man can, in the performance of his own duty, attain perfection. So here we can see there's a Brahmana. We talked a lot about Brahmana. So all of them, whether it is the Brahmana or the right hand side, the Kshatriya who is trying to protect, doing his duty, or the Vaishya who is having cattle and farming, etc., or the agricultural or the Sudras. So all of them finally doing everything for the service of Krishna. If they put all their work for the service of Krishna and putting there, therefore we are saying always in ISKCON that we should put Krishna in the center. Whatever we're doing, whether we're putting Krishna in the center, if we are not putting him in the center, in this picture also he is in the center. In our house also he is supposed to be in the center. In our mind also he is supposed to be in the center. That whatever I'm thinking, am I thinking something which is going to please Krishna or it is not? Then let me not think about it. That should be the filtration or acid test, so to say, for any kind of thought, for any kind of deed. Whether my this deed or my this thought, my this planning or my this kind of discussion, ultimately, whether it is going to in some way please and serve Krishna, then it is the work that I am doing for Krishna. Otherwise, what I am doing is I am simply serving to Maya. So there are only two choices. Either I am serving to Krishna or I am serving to Maya. That means Arjuna either he would serve to three modes or he will serve to Krishna. He had decided to be the instrument of Krishna, and therefore there is no reaction to his killing. Similarly, here also, if every one of all these people, if they do for Krishna, then even that particular work will not bind them. That is the whole meaning. Now, this is also a beautiful example. Shreyan swadharma bigunaha paradharmatsyu anushtitat swabhavaniyatam karma kurvanna napnoti kilvisham. It is better to encourage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation. Paradharma bhayavaha. Than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Prescribed duties according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reaction. In the above picture, such beautiful things. So the test is about what? The test is about who can climb the tree. Now we know very well. Here only that one person who can climb the tree is monkey. I mean, none of them can do. Even the crow also cannot actually climb. It can fly. So similarly, based on our gunas, will do, and based on the ashrama, we'll do our respective jobs and go. But if we want everyone to just climb the tree, then that is not possible. So sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham api na tyaje sarvarambha hi doshena dhumena agnir rivabrutaha. Every endeavor is covered by some fault. Just as fire is covered by smoke, therefore one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. So, so fire burns everything, and without fire, there cannot be any digestion, there cannot be any creation. Without sun, nothing will be there.
Without moon, no vegetation will be there. So fire, in fact, sustains the creation. But even fire, the fire also has smoke. The example is something like that. Even the fire is also sometimes covered by smoke, but it doesn't mean that the quality of the fire, because it is surrounded by the smoke, is gone. It is still there. So, similarly, while carrying out the particular duty of a particular ashrama, like doing a Kshatriya Dharma, there may be some mistakes may happen. One, somebody is in the army, he might have tried his best, but he might not be able to kill the terrorist, let's say, and he's being killed. This may happen, or something, or maybe he could not have decoded the perfect thing, because maybe at one point of time, the terrorists become or outsmart him. All this is possible. Some fault may happen, but still it is the best. Then summary of section E, confidential knowledge, which we talked about. Confidential knowledge of three types: guhya, guhyatara, and guhyamtamam. That is confidential, more confidential, and most confidential. And what is the confidential? The confidential is basically the Brahman realization. Then the more confidential is Paramatma realization, and most confidential is Bhagavan realization. Okay. So 49 to 55 is one, practicing Niskama Karma Yoga, detached work, attains goodness and the knowledge that he is not his body. This is the Guhya knowledge or the confidence knowledge. And second, the more confidence is he finally attains the Brahman platform. Then, by serving Krishna, he finally goes to the Bhagavan platform, having all, the Sevananda. By serving Krishna on this platform with devotion, one reaches the kingdom of God. So these are the three stages: Guhya, Guhyam, Guhyataram, and Guhyatamam, the most confidential knowledge. So I think just for understanding, prescribed duties is illusion, then it's a mode of ignorance. Then somebody does because he thinks that it's difficult, then it is passion. All this I think we have discussed before also. Okay, so now who can engage in Jnana Yoga? Who can engage in Jnana Yoga? What is Jnana? Jnana is knowledge. And what is knowledge? Knowledge is about I am not the body, I'm the I'm the soul, and also the knowledge that I am supposed to be the permanent servitor of Krishna. This is the knowledge. Now, who can engage in Jnana Yoga? One who is self-controlled and completely unattached can engage in Jnana Yoga, practicing renunciation. And what is the result? That one can attain highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. And what is the reaction? Reaction is by doing any work, the result of that karma will not come back. That is called the reaction. And if somebody is in the platform of jnana, then he will not get the reaction. And also about jnana, there could be many, many things like who knows me as this. Krishna always says, Janma karma chame divyam. Who knows me, then he will never get attached. He will always, he will straight away go to my abode. All that has been guaranteed. Now, Brahman platform, what happens? This is a so how can one attain Brahman platform? So this Brahman platform is different from our Brahman realization. I think this is something we should understand properly. This is the platform, means this is the consciousness. So the next verse will be coming as Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Yah Sochati Na Kankshati. Na Sochati Na Kankshati. Neither laments nor desires. He is in that Brahma Bhuta platform. So how to be in that platform? It is not the Brahman realization. It is a platform. So Brahman platform is supreme perfectional stage and stage of highest knowledge. Lord Krishna is now going to summarize how one can achieve supreme perfect stage of Brahman realization. So this is what we had, already understood when we're talking about the Dhyana Yoga. So, for example, living in a secluded place, it's eating little, controls the body, mind and power and speech, freedom from all bad qualities, born of material conception, always in trance, detached, thus one achieves supreme peace. At the same time, controlling the mind with determination, purified by intelligence, giving up sense objects, freedom from attachment and hatred. And a person who is not disturbed by incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but always still. For example, the ocean, when we look at a river, it surges, multiple river surges into with so much of sound and so much of vibration it goes, but so many rivers just goes inside a ocean and the ocean becomes still. Similarly, thousands of desires might come, but in the that particular Brahman state platform, one becomes absolutely still. So that is the platform. However, Krishna says, and Arjuna also accepts that it is very difficult for him. Klesho adhikataraha. Krishna is saying, Klesha is adhikataraha in this dhyana yoga. So best is the Krishna consciousness. But what are the prerequisites? False ego, false strength. I mean, one should be devoid of all this. If these are there, then this position is not possible. With false ego, with false strength, will false pride, lust, anger, acceptance of material things, and false proprietors. So all these things, when one is devoid of, then one can be in this platform. But even better than this is to be in the Krishna consciousness because that is easy. So this is the most very, very important verse. In fact, we should just memorize it, get it by heart. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samah sarveshu bhuteshu mat bhakting lavate param. One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state, he attends pure devotional service unto me. So he sees everyone equal. So Panditaha Samadarshinaha. So we had this example that whether it is a dog, it's a dog eater, a Brahman, or a hasti, or I mean elephant or a cow, he doesn't make any difference because he sees Paramatma in every living being. And therefore he becomes Samaha Sarveshu Bhuteshu. And and after that he becomes Madbhakting Lavate Param. Once one achieves this state and this quality that he is able to see, then he becomes in that state, he attends pure devotional service unto me. And the conclusion is the perfection of renunciation, text 54, Brahma Bhuta platform. So Brahma Bhuta, Bhutahu is one who is a transcendental situated in Prasanna Atma, is fully joyful, and na sochati na kankshati is never laments or desires. Sochati, Asochan, see another verse was there. Asochan anna sochastvang pragyavadascha bhasase gatasuna gatasum cha nanu sochanti panditaha. So this sochanti is also previously used. So never laments or desires to have anything. Then then samau sarvesu bhutesu. Samaha sarvesu bhutesu, equally disposed towards every living entity. It's not that he likes the Brahman and doesn't like the dog or whatever. I mean, like purity is other thing, but having hatred or love or those kind of dual thing is not there. Then he becomes the Madbhakta Labhate Para. Then one attends pure devotional service unto me. We can see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the best example. He is in the Brahmabhuta Prasanatma stage and he goes to the transcendental stage many times. This is also another beautiful verse. Bhaktya mam abhijananti yavan yaschasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvata gyatva visate tat anantaram. One can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of Supreme Lord, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So we can see the kingdom of God here. It is the Vaikuntha, where every soul is having the body of the 400 Vishnu form. We cannot really, differentiate between one to other. But yeah, this is the beautiful thing which happens. Here in this verse, we can see Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Whoever knows me through bhakti, Jnanena Mam Abhijanati, or Dhyanena Mam Abhijanati, or Karmana Mam Abhijanati is not there. Krishna would have said that if it is possible. So it is concluded that only through bhakti Krishna can be known. So the conclusion of this renunciation is how one's devotional service begins after achieving Brahmabhuta stage by hearing from the Lord, Tat Shunu. Then what is the effect of hearing? He gets the stage of Brahmabhuta stage develops and material contamination decreases and one can understand the Supreme Lord. So Krishna and his plenary portion cannot be understood by mental speculation or by non-devotees. We can see here Krishna and we can see from his navel uh, Brahma comes from his navel comes the lotus, and on the lotus comes the Brahma. So Brahma becomes the secondary creator, and the primary creator is Krishna. So it is like they are connected through an umbilical cord, like between a mother and a baby. So that's how the connection. And Brahma is the creator, and so all of us are coming. So he is the creator of all other creation. So naturally, we are all connected to Krishna through this umbilical cord. So Krishna erudite scholarship or mental speculation or university degrees fail to reveal absolute truth. Only way to know Krishna is pure devotional service. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Patram puspam phalam toyam. Patram puspam phalam toyam. Yo me bhaktya prayachati. Two times in bhakti is coming. Yome bhaktya prachati tad aham bhaktya uparutam asnami pratatmana. Under the guidance of a pure devotee, so we should have not only a pure devotional service, but also it should be guided through the parampara, through the Guru parampara. Then only because Guru is the representative of Krishna, and without devotional service, absolute truth is always hidden. Always hidden, and it will be just a mental speculation. You will have, so many. Prabhupada said in his time, in the 70s, there were 500, copies of Gita with some kind of mental concoctions. So, so absolute truth will never be revealed. It can be revealed only through the proper process, and therefore the nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction, all that is there. So one who is fully conversant with the science of Krishna, he is the eligible for his who is eligible to enter to the Lord's abode. Only the one who knows the signs of Krishna consciousness. Then summary of section F is the karma, modes control all activities. Then sakama to niskama karma yoga, niskama through liberation, then devotional service, working in pure devotional service. All this we have discussed. So 56 to 60, what is there? Working in pure devotional service. So this is where in fact he concludes. The most important verses are going to come now. The guhya tamas are going to come now. So one, on the platform of devotion should work under the order of Lord, fully depending on Him and being fully conscious of Him. One will thus be free from the control of the modes of material nature. So, what is this fully dependence? What does it mean? This is the definition of surrender. Fully dependent is something like a child. When a child is there with his parents, and supposing they are crossing the road, then he doesn't even bother that whether a car or a motorcycle will hit him. So he knows 100% he knows that the parents will take care, completely take care. So this is called complete dependence. Abhashya Rakshive Krishna. He is definitely Prahlad Maharaj, like Prahlad Maharaj. So many examples are there. And by this only one thus free from the control of the modes of material nature. A complete faith. So surrender is therefore in the 18th chapter, and that too in the last part of the 18th chapter. It's so difficult at the same time. सर्वकर्माणि अपि सदा सर्वकर्माणि अपि सदा कुर्वाण मत् व्यपसार व्यपश्रयः मत्प्रसादात् अवाप्नोति शाश्वतं पदम् अव्ययम्. We can see here Chaitanya Thakur, and we can see our Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, and all other devotees. And though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee under my protection reaches the eternal and imperishable abode of my grace, by my grace. So mercy is required. We'll do all our devotional services through our Guru, but still mercy is required. So it's now Lord's protection. I personally protect my devotees from all reactions and lead him directly to my supreme abode. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee is always under my protection. He reaches the eternal abode by my grace. What is the nature of quality of service? No time limitation for a pure devotee. Always 24 hours engaged in the service of the Lord. Nature of the abode, unchangeable, eternal, imperishable, and full of knowledge. In fact, one of our Gurudev was saying that if in the spiritual platform, once somebody goes to Vaikunta or there, in fact, if he thinks that if somebody is full of uh, you know wants a newspaper or some news on what is the latest movie, etc. All this will not be available in the spiritual world. Then somebody, oh my God, oh no, then how we'll get? We'll get bored. No, it is 100% 24 by 7. The service, the Brahm, the Sevananda will be there, the bliss will be there. So this now we understand a little now. While we are practicing the Krishna consciousness, we know a very minute part of it. That yes, let's say for example, uh, any of us when we go to a particular yatra to a particular place, like let's say great place like Mayapur or Vrindavan or any of such great places, and just remember those 2 3 days, how blissful it has been or it was. So that was a 24 by 7 situation in Goloka Vrindavan. There's no requirement of any material thing. And how does the protection comes? A pure devotee acts under the direction of Supreme Lord and is the representative. And who is the representative? Guru. So devotees mood of dependence. So we can see here, devotees mood of dependence is in all activities just depend upon him. Work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. Arjuna finally surrendered to Krishna, saying that, okay, whatever you say, I'll do. Krishna also say, Nimitta Matra Bhava Sabhyadachi. We can see Draupadi ji here. She finally had the Saranagati, and so much able Pandavas are there. All five, all great heroes are there, but nobody could protect him. Neither Arjuna nor Bhima nor Nakula nor Sahadeva nor Yudhishthira, nobody could protect him. Only Krishna could protect because she completely surrendered. मच्चित्तः सर्वदुर्गाणि मत्प्रसादात् तरिष्यति अथ चेत्त्वम् अहङ्कारान् न श्रोष्यसि vinakshasi. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditional life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness but act through false ego, not aiming, you will be lost. So now Krishna is also giving a kind of a caution that if you are becoming machitaha, and then I'm going to take care of everything. So yoga kshamam bahamyaham. Ananya Chintoyastamam ye yanaha paripasate tesam nityabhiyuktanam yogoksham vahamyam. However, if you do not work in such consciousness but act through false ego as per your own desire, so endeavor you will be in the Raja or in Tama, then what will happen? Then you will be lost. And that's very clear. So if you become conscious of me, work as per 18.57, you will pass all the obstacles. So we can see here, who is he? He is Bhishma Deva. And at the time of his death, of course, he was having the Ichha Mrityu, boon. But at the time of death, he is the example of the pure devotee. And ante, ante Narayana Smriti, ante Narayana Smriti is something that he has demonstrated as a pure devotee here. And that is because, and therefore, Krishna has come as the merciful Krishna and stood before him when he was dying. Otherwise, Krishna is saying, otherwise, you will be bound and lost in the material world. Like you can see the 84 lakhs of species with some desire, sometimes fish, sometimes horse. All this will keep on happening for infinite time unless otherwise we surrender to Krishna. Discussion in the purport is Krishna consciousness is free from all anxieties and Krishna consciousness. He is not unduly anxious about executing the duties of his existence. Krishna becomes his friend. Sakheti. In fact, for to Arjuna, he always says, I am telling you all this because Bhaktosi Sakheti. And Krishna is the friend. Surhudam Sarvabhutana. Krishna becomes his friend and looks after his comfort. So every time he's giving so much of guarantees. He's saying, Yogakshamam Bahamyaham, I'll take care of you completely. Because everything is prompted by Krishna from within and confirmed by spiritual master. Otherwise, conditioned soul is always under strict material laws. Material laws is what? All by these three gunas. And acting under Krishna, so there are only two choices. We have discussed this many times. That we have either we surrender to the three modes on the left hand side, or we surrender to Krishna. If we do not surrender to Krishna, then there is only option left out. That is to surrender to the three modes. And we'll act according to the three modes and keep on taking birth. So, what is the example of acting according to the nature? Arjuna, as a Kshatriya, has natural duty to fight. So, therefore, he's fighting, and by fighting, he's become Krishna consciousness because he's doing fighting for Krishna, not for getting the kingdom, but for Krishna, because Krishna wants him to fight, so he's fighting, and therefore he is becoming the example for you know working according to the nature. And what is the nature? His nature is supposed to be the Kshatriya nature. And why refusal to fight was under false ego? Because he was fearing that by killing his relatives, he would incur sinful reaction. That thought that it will become sinful, that thought itself was part of his false ego. And what is the forgetfulness of conditioned soul? We all are forget. We actually, the entire movement of Krishna consciousness and ISKCON is to remind all of us our original constitutional position. We have forgotten our relationship with Krishna, that we are the permanent servitor of Krishna. This we have forgotten. And the entire movement of Srila Prabhupada is all about that, to just to remind this forgotten position that our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and our wonderful, blissful relationship, which we just talked about, what happens in a blissful stage in Golok Vrindavan. And the conclusion is unhesitatingly execute the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that will keep one safe under all circumstances. Therefore, once one becomes, takes the Diksha, then the name changes. The name changes to, let's say, if my name is Siddhartha, then I will become Siddhartha Das. Or some Mataji will become Devadasa and Devadasi. And what is Dasa? Dasa means servant. And what is servant? One servant is that our, let's say we have some servants, so we give some money, they do some job and they go. But after their job is over, they do something else. But what about a slave? Of course, not a good example, but to make it that actually the Dasa is a slave because there is no return which is expected from Krishna. We are permanent servant of Krishna. That is the attitude. And acting under Krishna or illusion is the only choice. If you do not follow my orders, you will be compelled to follow orders of lower nature. This is so simple to understand. Either follow Krishna, either follow his order. And what is the meaning of following his order? To become Krishna consciousness. And what is that meaning? To be part of the parampara of the bhakti. And what is bhakti? There is Navavida bhakti. Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Bandalam, Pada Samanam, Dasham, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. The entire process is there. Then the full process is there. We're not discussing now. Now, results in anyone who voluntarily engages himself under the direction of Supreme Lord becomes glorious. Summary of section G is more confidence and knowledge, surrender to this is a more confidence knowledge, surrender to super soul. More confidence knowledge than the knowledge that one is spirit soul is knowledge that one should surrender to the super soul. So this knowledge that we being the soul have to surrender to the super soul is the confidential knowledge. Ishvara sarvabhutanam uddesha arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantrarudhani mayaya yantrarudhani. Yantra means machine. So, as if the soul is actually riding a machine, the machine, like the body, is riding a machine. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. So, this body is made of machine, material energy, and material that is basically the Panchabhutas, earth, air, fire, water, and ether, and of course another three which goes with the soul, mind, intelligence, ego. But here on the right hand side we can see the position of Atma and Paramatma, or the soul and the super soul. So one bird is there sitting on the same branch of the tree, and one bird is eating the fruits of the branch and continuously engaged in eating, and other bird is just watching. You can see in the other bird Krishna is there. We can see Krishna here. So he is the witness. So उपद्रष्टा अनुमंता च उपद्रष्टा अनुमंता च भर्ता भक्ता महेश्वर परमात्मेति चाप्युक्तो देहेस्मिन् पुरुषः परः. उपद्रष्टा अनुमंता च भर्ता भोक्ता महेश्वर परमात्मेति चाप्युक्तो देहेस्मिन् पुरुषः परः. He is witnessing when will disengage from eating the fruit and turn our eyes towards Krishna, then he is there to take us out from the ocean of this misery. And misery are there are threefold miseries: Adhyatmika, Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika, all kinds of misery. And there are four other miseries like birth, death, old age, and disease. All that, like somebody is drowning in an ocean, even if he's a great swimmer, it is not possible to cross the ocean because ocean is so vast. It is not a pond or a small pond. Ocean is an ocean. One cannot just swim across an ocean. And only thing is when Krishna comes riding on the Garudas and he can pull us out. That is the only way out. And he will pull us out where? Only when we surrender. So Ishvara Sarva Bhutana Vruddesa Arjuna Tishtati. O Sehana Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and eternal abode. So he is Jagannath Puri in the Odisha Puri Dham, Jagannath, you can see his eyelids are not there. So he's in fact witnessing and watching everyone. He's so merciful that he doesn't want to even take a blink. So therefore, we can see there are no eyelids. And Pratap Rudra Deva is the king, and he is sweeping. Because why is sweeping? Because by sweeping, first of all, he's coming totally out of his ego, and so there is no false ego at all of the king. He is coming and sweeping and giving this pleasing service which Krishna likes, and that becomes a surrender. Iti itite jnanam akshatam guhyat guhyat taram maya vimrishyatat asheshena yatachasi tatha kuru. Yet finally Krishna says yatachasi tatha kuru, means whatever you want, Yatha ichchasi tatha kuru. Whatever you desire, now you do. Thus, I have explained to you the most confidential of all knowledge. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do. Krishna never compels. Krishna never ever compels. He says, this is what the jnana, the most confidence knowledge I have given you. Now you choose. You choose what is best for you. So if you choose the three modes of nature, then it's your choice. Either you surrender to nature or you surrender to me, but it's still your choice. So Krishna will reveal the supreme instruction now. What is the most confidence knowledge? Guhya, confidence knowledge of Brahman, then Guhyatara is more confident knowledge of the super soul, and Guhyatamam is most confidence is just surrender unto the supreme personal Godhead. So that is the most confidence knowledge. And this is one of the most beautiful verse. Manamana bhava madbhakto matyaji mam namaskuru mame shashi satyam te pratijane priyoshi me. Beautiful verse. Manmana bhava madbhakto matyaji mam namaskuru mame shashi satyam te pratijane priyoshi me. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. He is promising. Just look at Krishna. He's promising. He's saying, Pratijane. So I am promising. Aham pratijane. Priyosi me. Me. Tvam priyashi. You are very dear to me. And therefore, Manmana bhava mat bhakto mat yaji mam namaskuru. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your homage unto me. So always think of me is smaranam, become my devotee, doing the deity worship properly, worship me, and then offer your homage to various ways, patram puspam phalam toyam, and also better than that. Then sarva dharman paritijya mamekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksheshami masuchaha. Because Arjuna talking about so many sins, etc., etc. Now he's saying, abandon all varieties of religion. If you are still thinking this something is to be done, what I've said, then forget about everything. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. Twice he's saying, I am going to deliver you from all sinful reaction, not sins. Even if whatever sinful reaction is left out by the prarabdha, aprarabdha, kuta, bija, in whichever form it is there, I'll deliver from you. Just surrender to me. Sarva dharma mam ekam sharanam braja. Mam ekam. Only unto me. So it proves Krishna is the Supreme Personal Godhead and he can only deliver. Summary of 66 is this: confidence knowledge, more confidence in knowledge, and most confidence in knowledge. What is the confidence knowledge? Knowledge of the Brahman. More confidence in knowledge of Guiha. I'm repeating because it has to, cement in our brain altogether or soul altogether. Knowledge of Paramatma and most confidence knowledge is devotion, devotional service to Bhagavan or Sri Krishna with bhakti. Preaching and preaching and studying the Bhagavad Gita. Preaching and studying the Bhagavad Gita. So this is this portion. So idang te na tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na cha susave vachyam na cha mamyo abhisuyati abhyasuyati. This confidential knowledge may not be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, not to one who is envious of me. In fact, Arjuna's quality is what? He is not envious of Krishna and he is very humble. This is the two important qualities for which the Bhagavad Gita was told to Krishna. He becomes the eligible candidate to be told the supreme song of Gita. So why different people envy Krishna? Because he is a supreme and nothing is above or equal to him. And who should not try to comment on Bhagavad Gita? Envious, faithless, and those without understanding of the Krishna from authority or pure devotee. So this is very, very important. that envious, faithlessness, those without understanding the Krishna from authority of pure devotee, they should not try to comment on Bhagavad Gita. If somebody is commenting based on some kind of, just reading and through some, grammatical knowledge or some lexicon knowledge or English or Sanskrit, it is not a language. It is not a language discourse. Gita is not a language discourse. It is Brahma Vidya. It is spiritual science. It is the science of Krishna. It is science of liberation. So this cannot be discussed without a parampara and without a guru. In fact, even parampara, we know that verse that parampara praptam ya idam paramam guiham matbhaktesu abhidhashati bhaktimai param kritva mam eveshasi asamshayah. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end, he will come back to me. So he's guaranteeing that he will definitely come back to me by understanding the most confidential knowledge about me, and that most confidential knowledge is to surrender to Krishna. न च तस्मान् मनुष्येषु कश्चिन्मे प्रिय कृतमः भविता न च मे तस्मात् अन्यः प्रियतरो भुवि. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So this dasa, the servant of Krishna, who is completely dependent like a child, like Prahlad Maharaj, like Draupadi Devi, like so many other great devotees, nobody is more dear to him than these devotees. So, adhyeshete cha ye imang dharmyam sambadam apayoho jnana yagyena tenaham isto syamiti me matihi. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation worships me by his intelligence. Wonderful. And Shraddhavan Anusuyascha Sunyat api yo naraha sopi muktaha subhallokan prapnuyat punya karmanam. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reaction. So we are talking, I am listening, you are listening, all of us are listening to what Krishna is saying. So when we are listening through this online platform, Krishna is saying that one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from the sinful reaction. So, in this so many days when we discussed, Krishna is guaranteeing that many of our sinful reaction would have been vanquished. And I think you yourself can ask yourself that, yes, what has happened? Definitely, there would have been some difference which you can only realize, I can only realize. Arjuna is firmly fixed. Arjuna Vacho. Now Arjuna's all doubts and everything has all the moho and everything has gone. So he's saying Nasto Maha Smrti Labdha Tat Prasadan Moya Achyuta Sthitosmi Gata Sandeha Karisye Vachanam Tava. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy, and I am now firm and free from doubt, and I am prepared to act according to your instructions. Now he's ready. So once we say Karisya Vachanam Tava, then Krishna will completely take care of us. And that is what he has done. And all his doubts are over. From the first chapter itself, he started with all the four, five doubts. So sinful reaction, no enjoyment, family, dynasty, all that you know already. All these doubt, every doubts and all the further doubts in various chapters, like Jnana is which is better, to go to jungle is better, or to meditate is better, or to fight is better. So many questions and answers. What does Sthita Prajna does? So many questions, right? So now all his doubts are clear and he is completely surrendered. And then Sanjay's prediction. Sanjay said, thus have I heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna, and so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. Similar thing happened to Arjuna, but in a different setup. Then he was saying that Siddhanti Mama Gatrani, Mukhang cha parisusyati, Gandiva Samsadavasta, all that he was saying. But here it is basically a ecstasy. This is what is happening in an ecstasy for Sanjaya. So by the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism. Krishna was speaking personally to Arjuna. O king, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. Every moment. Tacca, tacca samsrutya, tacca samsrutya रूपम अति अद्भुतम हरेः विस्मयो मे महन् राजन् ऋष्यामि च पुनः पुनः. O king, when I remember the wonderful from form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with even greater wonder and I rejoice again and again. So Sanjay, being a devotee, can fully understand the form of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna, the name of Krishna, everything he understands because he is a pure devotee. यत्र योगेश्वरो कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयोर्भूतिर्भूतिर्ध्रुवा नितिर्मतिर्मम. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and royal and morality. That is my opinion. It's also a very, very wonderful verse. So whenever we're talking about Krishna, whenever we're talking about Partha, Dhanudhara, definitely there will be Shri, there will be Jaya, there will be uh, you know uh, opulence, victory, power, morality. All this will be there when both Krishna and Arjuna are there. This is the declaration, and this is the chapter 18 sections. 1 to 12, acting with detachment in true renunciation and brings freedom from reaction. 13 to 18, we discuss about the conclusion of Sankhya and Vedanta. Actions directed by the super soul bring freedom from reaction. And 19 to 40, we discuss about the entanglement of three modes, how it entangles. 41 to 48, worshipping the Lord through one's occupational work. That is duty, Kshatriya's duty, Brahmana's duty, etc. Then 49 to 55, from Jnana Yoga to pure devotional service. So one can be in the Jnana Yoga, but ultimately he has to go to the devotional service and to the surrender. Then 56 to 60, working in pure devotional service. Brahmabhuta Prasannatma, Jo Sochoti no Kankshati, Na Sochoti na Kankshati, 61 to 63, surrender to the Supreme Soul. Sarvadharman Parityajam Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja. The most confidential knowledge of all, become a pure devotee of Krishna, preaching and studying the Bhagavad Gita, how we should do it, and how it is going to give a lot of blessings from Krishna, and how we become more dear and how our sinful reactions will be vanquished by just discussing. And Arjuna is firmly fixed. And then finally, Sanjay's prediction that whenever there is Arjuna, wherever there is Partha, there will be always, purity. There will be always Shri. Every time that will be there. With this, we comes to the end of this 18 chapters, chapter 18. So I am so fortunate. My humble obeisance to all the devotees who have been listening uh, today as well as in all the days. My humble obeisance to all our gurus and Goranga. My humble obeisance to Radha Govinda. My humble obeisance to everyone. Hare Krishna. Any question? I think just